there is still a threat to the public. This is still an active scene. Officers are searching for a suspect in the vicinity. Details regarding a media briefing will be provided via a media advisory as soon as possible. So Ted and Mary, I mean, they still think there's a threat out there.
Yeah, we mentioned that a little bit earlier, Ben. We are not able to confirm, but we are hearing from sources, I have heard from sources, that that suspect is still at large, at least one. We don't know if there are more, but that was the reason for that intense presence there. And that is the reason for the mobility or the immobility, that they are staying right there, because we are hearing, again, I want to underscore, unconfirmed, that the suspect involved in this is still at large. We don't know if police know who they're looking for. We don't know if it's an identified or if it's somebody who they are able to identify and just not able to track down. But clearly that perimeter still being that active after this amount of time tells you that something is going on. A little surprising that neighbors were able to come out of their homes right there if there was volatility, if there was a threat to the community. But we know that they are continuing to scour for pieces of evidence. And at this point, from what we're hearing, for somebody involved in this shooting that happened just about 2 hours ago.
As we're taking a live look at a few different scenes here, we have on your left, 25th and Garfield. That is the scene where we believe the two officers were shot. We have another picture of 25th and Garfield from a different angle. And then on your bottom right, we have Freighter Hospital, where those two officers have arrived. My timing is going to be a little off, but I can certainly say within the last 35 minutes, they have arrived there. So we have three scenes we're looking at. We have crews heading to other locations as well. And don't forget the original scene at 30th and Lisbon. I say original, and I should point out that that's speculative, because that is where our crews first went tonight. That is what our assignment desk sent our crews to. Our Bria Jones and Eric Lichstein were going to that, and that's when they noticed that cops were getting in their cars and heading elsewhere. We assume that elsewhere was 25th and Garfield. We want to just really take you and let you know what we know and no more than that, because there's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of disinformation, as there always is in something like this. Everybody wants to be first, everybody wants to be right.
This is really sad.
Try to be as accurate as we can.
And that's why I'm glad I did say what I said in the video before this one. And it's not all the officers, because to all the good officers that are brave enough to be out there, I guess, you know, they're victims too.
We are now wondering if there is a fatality tonight. How seriously injured are these officers? Again, we are trying to get that information. Police are
Nothing has really been confirmed as far as officers being deceased, but they said that the two officers did arrive at Freighter Hospital, which is a pretty big hospital here. They arrived there, but there's no status on them. So that's a rough area, though. You know, my aunt used to live over there. My family lived over there for quite some time. When I was much younger, though, but still, it is a rough area.
There have been so many calls for peace since the summer has started.
It's a very rough area.
And at that point, this is sometime shortly after 9 o'clock, maybe you're turning in for the night and you hear this barrage of gunfire. And he said immediately there were what appeared to be, in his words, a dozen police officers on the scene, dozens and dozens of squads. And this is, as you know, 25th and Garfield, this is the Milwaukee Police District areas. The fact that the Sheriff's Department, Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department, was called in to provide assistance there shows you the dramatic, the volatility, the efforts to figure out exactly how we can control the situation. You see a lot of tape there. You see a lot of involvement there by the police trying to piece together exactly what happened and exactly what they can do to contain the area. Their first area of involvement there, their first priority is to make sure that the public is safe. And obviously, we know that two officers were taken to Freighter Hospital to get treated, to know that those officers are going to be okay. We have heard passion pleas from Chief Jeffrey Norman, who is away right now at a conference in Texas, and Mayor Cavalier Johnson, who we are told is headed or at the scene right now for community involvement to squelch and calm the shootings. that have happened. We started reporting on shootings around June 6th in the area of 46th and Hampton. And at that
Yep.
point, we have had multiple people shot and people killed in and around that area. And at that point, it set off what we call a tandem of pleas to the community to get out and try to help. See if you call anybody that you know. If you see something, say something, but really an effort to try to get the community members to help people put the guns down.
And it was 2 weeks ago tonight, hit that very area, 46 in Hampton, on the 12th of this month. When that officer was shot in the leg and was brought to the hospital and released the next day, as Ben just mentioned. But that was the scene. You'll remember the chief and the mayor, Cavalier Johnson, came there, and the suspect in that case, I believe Mary was a 39-year-old man, and that is, you saw the admonishment from the mayor that night, shocked that the 39-year-old man, and that was his plea, to just grow up already. You're a grown man running around with guns and you don't need to be. We don't know anything about the suspect they're looking for now, but I do want to just read to you the update that we do know from MPD, and this came across just a few moments ago. Milwaukee police are at the scene of a critical incident in the area of 25th Street and West Garfield. Please avoid the area as there is still a threat to the public. This is an active scene and officers are searching for a suspect in the vicinity.
Wow.
Details regarding a media briefing will be
Wow.
provided via
Kitty.
the advisory as soon as possible.
Kitty, really?
But we cannot underscore that
Really, Kitty?
a lot. We cannot underscore that enough, that this is an active scene and they are looking for a suspect. So if you're outside in that neighborhood, you're outside at your own risk tonight. I don't think police have time or the manpower to go door to door and say stay inside.
Wow. They don't have the time or the manpower to go door to door to say stay inside.
We are also hearing,
Wow.
of course, as you see that your screen there, you see the 25th and Garfield. We're looking at Freighter, and we're hearing, as you saw earlier too, it's kind of hard to see from that
I do
picture,
hope the
is that
officers
there
are
about
okay.
a dozen
Like they
officers
just mentioned, it
outside
was
of the
a
emergency
officer
room
involved
at
shooting,
Freighter there, where
I
we
think
do know
about a
2
week
officers
ago.
were taken to the hospital
An
after
officer got
the
shot
shooting,
in his
after the violence
leg
that erupted
in a
tonight.
very
So
rough
the
area,
one
you know,
station
that
there
is
where
called
the officer's
Hampton.
concerned,
You know,
looking for any
Hampton
updates,
Avenue
looking for
been
any
very
details that they can
deadly
glean, and then you have the
lately. For
investigative
some
part of
reason,
this
it's
where
been
police are
very
still looking,
deadly. That
presumably
is a
for the
known
suspect
area.
in this
I forgot what the cops
officer
is
involved
calling it, but it's
shooting.
got a name to it now because of all of the killings and shootings and drama over there.
Nothing new in the last 12 hours, and certainly nothing pertaining to
I do
this
hope those officers
incident.
make
So
it.
we are looking for any information we can get. We understand.
The person is at large, whoever did the shit.
Right
Wow.
now, we understand that. We're still
Unreal.
waiting on that media advisory.
And this is why, you know, I don't go out too much, guys. You know, y'all see me in the crib every night, you know, especially if I'm going to be doing what I'm doing right now, making a video. First off, it's 11:27, which is my bedtime, but it's just that I'm so curious to know how this turns out. And now's the time for us to pray, you know, that everybody is okay and safe. Because it's sad, you know, hell yeah, they scared too. They had a gentleman speaking, maybe they'll show him again. He's a respected pillar of the community, and he was saying that he felt both sides, you know, and it's very sad.
But they just graduated 25 police
Wow.
officers, and the general consensus was, welcome, we need you, but we need a lot more of you.
Wow.
So there's always going to be a funding issue, there's always going to be a budget issue.
Oh, wow.
But tonight, you can just imagine what's happening. There are 7 police districts in the city of Milwaukee. They all need to be patrolled tonight. I imagine every officer, in his or her heart, wants to be finding the person who shot 2 of their fellow officers. But there has to be work to be done in the other district, on the far northwest side, on the north side, on the far south side. So this is a logistical issue for police. I'm sure there's so many officers coming in off duty, saying, I'm here, what do you need me to do? That's their DNA. That's how these men and women are made. and they want to help out on this thing.
You bring up a very good point, because they're all hands on deck there. You see the saturation of officers there. And again, this is not the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office that's not their area. And for them to be called
This
in
is just
to help
sad.
to help
You
them
know,
through
like I
this
was
is
saying, you don't see me out too much out and about like that. You know, if
to
I
do what they have
was,
to do. They
I
canvass
would
the area to find
record,
the
you know,
suspect,
even if
they're
it was
carrying
just
out
a
a still
short.
at large and
I would
protect the
record,
community
you
and the
know,
area.
you would know I was out, but you be seeing me in my crib, man. Or, you know, even if it's in darkness and y'all can't see really where I'm at, I be recording up in my crib, okay? The most of the time. There's nothing wrong with going out sometime, man, but I'm just saying, it's best to get your ass in the crib, you know, before darkness falls upon you, and sit your ass down. Now, this is my opinion. I'm gonna stick to that. You know, get your ass inside. But see, the officers, they can't just do that. They have to be out there because that's what they signed up for, you know. But it is unfortunate if it's fatalities, you know, on, you know, just period.
If that suspect, he or she is still there. But they
It's
haven't
quite
done that.
sad.
They have not made that arrest yet, at least as far as we know.
Let's back up. It's 11:30. Let's just kind of press the pause button here and regroup as we take you to the timeline of what happened tonight. It was right around 9 o'clock that we sent, initially we sent Bria Jones to what we were hearing was a shooting at 30th and Lisbon. And then moments later.
And a significant shooting there.
And a significant shooting.
Because the medical examiner had to go to that spot, which means there's a fatality there.
Absolutely. And then, not that long later, we were hearing about this.
If the medical examiner was called, it's a fatality.
And that's when Bria Jones moved to that to that shooting. And that's when she talked to neighbors who said, not that long ago, moments before she went on air, they had heard what they called a barrage of gunfire, at least 12 shots.
Wow.
And sirens galore coming to
Wow.
the area. And they didn't, obviously, and neighbors concerned, they didn't know what was going on. We do not know if those two scenes are independent or if they were connected. We do not know what started this barrage of gunfire, this violence, this shooting scene.
Get your ass in the house and just sit down.
Right now.
Or lay down, shit, one or the other. Don't do too much.
As you can see there on your screen, and that's the only thing that we can confirm for you right now at this point, as we do await a press conference, hopefully at any minute.
We don't even know really if there'll be a press conference. They just said some media advisory is going to be released.
Yeah, it could be a press release.
Right, but if the chief's not there, does he want one of his other assistant chiefs giving the information? Does he want the mayor giving the information? All of that, I'm sure, is being worked out behind the scenes. But we are again showing you two different scenes right there, and I want to make sure I have the right scenes here. On your left is 25th and Garfield, and then on the right here is near 25th and Garfield right there. So we have a couple crews there. We have sent a crew over the original location, Mary, at 30th and Lisbon. Our Kim Murphy is out at Freighter Hospital as we await word there. So a lot of different information streams coming in, and we're trying to get the latest, but we're also trying to get the most accurate information we can.
Yeah, the only thing officially that we have heard from MPD, I'll reiterate that Milwaukee police were on the scene of that critical incident, and the public was asked to avoid the area because there was still a threat to the public. This coming in just about 14 minutes ago. They are calling this an active scene, officers searching for a suspect in the vicinity. And they, again, are told there will be a media briefing to bring us up to date, a media advisory as soon as possible. But again, MPD in that area there of what they are just deeming a critical incident. And you see that right there. The center of it all seems to be right there at North 25th and West Garfield. And
I'm looking at a monitor. One of our photojournalists out at Freighter is giving us the 1 minute indication. I don't know what's happening in a minute. Okay, that's where we're getting Kim Murphy ready to go there. So sorry.
Let's see what she found out, guys. I guess they got a different reporter on this, a different scene. We're about to find
Everybody
out.
knows there has been at 25th and Garfield, and she is working the scene.
But they got
trying to
her
talk to
out there
neighbors,
too,
trying to
but
talk
we
to
already saw her report.
officers or anybody who could
See
see
what
what's been going on.
the-
We'll defer to our
the other
producer, Derek,
reporter
see if
has
we
to
can
say.
talk to, Bria, but while we work on getting Bria, let's go back into the newsroom with Ben Handelman to see what he has pieced together. Ben?
Yeah, guys, I just can't tell you.
Oh,
This
no,
was such a
she's-
chaotic night
she's
for
not
Milwaukee
on.
Police, 'cause our reporters, they were out at the scene. There was a homicide investigation not too far away when the reports of these two officers being shot came in, and now we just at that time we just saw officers jump into their vehicles and fly down to the scene. And again, if you're just joining us, it's a weird night here in Milwaukee because the police chief is not in the city of Milwaukee. He is at a convention. It is the Major Cities Chiefs Association. So that is police chiefs from all the big cities really around the country. They're all gathering in San Antonio, Texas for this big conference. And Police Chief Jeffrey Martin, he represents the central region. I'm not sure which areas make up the central region of the Major Cities Chiefs Association, but he's out of town. While he's out of town, one of the biggest things in his career happens tonight. There's a meeting at the FPC, and they give him the green light to a new 4-year contract, and he actually zooms into that meeting over 1,000 miles away. So he's not even there for his big night at the FPC because he felt like he could do this via Zoom, I would assume. And obviously they've been meeting about this for the last few meetings at the FPC. So he gets a new contract tonight. And basically, after he gets the new contract, all hell breaks loose on the city streets of Milwaukee. We got a homicide investigation, and now we've got this with the two officers who've been shot there at 25th and Garfield. And then I will tell you, I'm just looking at the stats here, guys, and some of the reason. Okay, hold on. I gotta get back to you guys at the scene because I know you're going to someone new, so I'm gonna throw it back to you right now.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Frederick Hospital.
Kim Murphy is there.
We saw a lot of, looks like at least a dozen officers right outside the emergency room area.
Mary, we really had to move around. When I first got here, I tried to get as close to the emergency entrance as I could. There are 2 security guards there. They're not letting anyone in unless they are seeking care. So they waved us to the very edge of the campus. We managed to find another vantage point. I'm going to step out of the way here, and you can see the scene. And not a lot is happening here, but we have seen 1 or 2 more squads arriving on the scene, and it's just, it feels just like a waiting game. We're not really sure what's happening. We don't see a lot of activity here, but we know that something is going on here because this is an unusual number of police officers who are gathered near the emergency entrance. And again, Frederick is being very strict about how close we can come, and so that is hampering a little bit of our reporting, but we can tell you that it does appear that there is a vigil that is going on here at Frederick Hospital. We are at 89th in Wisconsin. Again, we had to move around because we were pushed to the very edge around 92nd, first of all, and then to 87th. And so my photographer has had to move a couple of times until we found this spot. But we are keeping an eye on things, and as soon as we get more information here, we will definitely bring it to you. Mary?
Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Oh, okay, we were told you might not be able to hear us, so that is good. Are they all Milwaukee police officers there, as far as you can tell? In the past, we have seen other departments go to the emergency room offering some sort of support, whether that be emotional support or saying, hey, how can we help out in your district? But from what you can see now, is it all MPD squads there?
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of the way and let my photographer, Jake, zoom in a little bit. And it's really, I mean, we are across a pond, so we're a good distance away. We can tell just by, you know, that they are police squads, but from what departments, I can't, you know, clearly make out what departments they are from. But you can see there are 2 squads that are parked, and
Well,
then
I can see one of them's Wauwatosa there. I have the advantage of looking through the lens that you're not looking through, which would make sense that Tosa police would be there given the location of the hospital.
Yeah, but this is, it's different, to be blocked from even getting anywhere near the emergency entrance right
Hello,
away.
Trey
I
Trey.
was waved off and, the security said, if you are not here for care, you are
Watching the
not
news,
allowed to
breaking news, trying
enter,
to find
that
out
drive that takes you to
if
the
the two
emergency
officers
door.
that got
So,
shot
again,
are
this
gonna
is as
make it.
close as we can get to the scene, and we are just waiting to see,
She,
if we get any kind of confirmation on what exactly is
they're
happening
just
here. We
like
do believe that
watching the
Officer
people.
Eastwood is inside.
I
Again,
guess
as
like
soon as
dispositions
we
and
get more
stuff to
information, we
see.
will, but it's just, I can tell you from a
I
reporter's
guess
stand, it's a very
try
heavy
to.
feeling, because you know
She say
that
it's a
this
heavy
is a trauma
feeling.
center, and you know that
Uh-oh.
there are life-saving measures that are going on in there, and we're just waiting,
Uh-oh.
hoping, to get some more information, but it's just a very difficult evening.
Oh, wow.
And we sense that it almost an ominous scene there. If there is any good news that we can glean, it is that Freighter is a level 1 trauma, and they see this all the time. If anybody is
Oh,
equipped
wow.
to handle serious injuries and to bring somebody through, nobody does it better than Freighter. So
That's
there is
true.
some comfort in knowing that they are in good hands. We can
Yeah,
let you know,
Freighter's
continue
pretty
to
good.
monitor that scene. We have you up in a monitor here in the studio. As you know, we'll pull you up and wave at us too. You know, we can see the monitor if
Oh,
we need to come to
wow.
you, because we will immediately break away and join you again at the scene. But really appreciate the update there from outside of Freighter, as so many officers are gathered right now.
And
Wow.
please raise your hand if you're seeing new information or whatever.
Yes, it is my
Raise your hand
town.
out, all right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, thanks.
All right, Kim Murphy.
I go past this area
As we now take a look at the scene.
all the time.
This is at 25th and.
Yeah.
Chambers
Very
Road.
close to it. Very
From
close to
Garfield
it.
Right here, this is the.
Just
area
about
where the
every
two
day.
officers were shot.
Yeah.
Mary, do we have a timeline on that? I know you were piecing it together.
Yeah, we were kind of looking at here
What
because I
was the
remember.
first call?
Yeah, but anyway, guys,
I don't know exactly what's going on in the news,
I'm gonna have to
that's
come
the only thing I
back
know.
and.
I was approving Bria's story for.
Well, let's just see what happens.
And I heard right after 9 o'clock that she's being pulled to the breaking news, so I know.
At 30th and Lisbon.
At 30th and Lisbon. So even before 9 o'clock, she was not being pulled to that scene. So this kind of came in fast and furious. It was just after 9 o'clock that we were hearing the scanners from the assignment desk. Bria goes to the scene there at 30th and Lisbon. During the time that she's en route, we are hearing about the situation at 25th and Garfield.
Oh.
And so I know immediately she moved to that scene. And I think, Ted, as you and I were out here on set, just starting the news, all this was kind of trickling in. This seems to have happened within about an hour. Between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock that you had the shots, and again, we don't know if these two scenes are connected. We don't know if 30th and Lisbon, where the Emmy was called, and this 25th and Garfield, if they're connected. You can only anticipate answers from MPD when they are going to give us a briefing.
And we're waiting to hear from them. They say there will be.
Yeah, it is crazy. You know, a lot has been happening in Milwaukee, but
We know that
it's
we
just
are,
that
moving
yeah.
Bria right now to another location. She has been there.
I mean, it's
She talked to residents
the
in
cops
that
just seem
area.
like it's
We're gonna try to
outnumbered.
piece
That's
together
what it really
what
seems
she's
like
brought
to
us.
me,
We
in
do
my
have
opinion.
sound
It's
bites
like the
coming
cops are
from neighbors
outnumbered.
in that area there,
You know,
right
these
around
niggas out here
25th
be
and
having
Garfield.
some
As soon as we
heavy
can get those radio
artillery.
systems and,
Do
lock
y'all
them out,
hear
we're gonna
me?
bring you that sound bite. She talked to a gentleman there who said that he heard the shots
These
from
niggas
the
out here be
clear up
having
and
some
see if they can
heavy
figure out as
shit.
you
We do have.
I
We have
know.
a gentleman who was on his
I
patio,
know.
having a hot
They
dog.
be having some army type shit
Maybe we could hear that.
out here.
Hearing about this and joining us.
Okay.
And he was not an eyewitness account, but he was certainly an ear witness account.
You say it's like that in Oakland, California too? I know. I got an ex and he from
Yeah, guys, I just want to give you some
Inglewood.
insight
Is he from
into what's
Inglewood?
going on here in the news.
My
I'm
ex
gonna move
Will.
the crews around 'cause we're getting
Yep, he from
some more
Inglewood,
of
so
the action is
I
going
know.
all over this neighborhood now.
Thank you
So
for the hearts going up.
But we're getting
But
reports
I'm just
from
talking about
blocks
these
away
niggas
now,
though.
and that is just
Out here, they be having some shit for somebody's ass, and it don't matter who it is. Shit, and they mind, they gonna shoot it out to the death. Some of them,
right now. So
they gonna shoot it out to the death. and they gonna be fully prepared to at least go quite some time before the FBI and whoever else, team up and take them out. Kitty. And take them out. But I'm just saying, they be having some heavy artillery out here. Yes, they do. So they not afraid to shoot at the cops, obviously. Because whoever did this shit is out at large still, which is sad. We really don't know a lot, y'all. We gonna have to just stay tuned in. I'll probably keep you guys, updated and let you guys know what happened.
All of the scenes that we're following right now. So you're looking live. This is 25th and
All right, Kitty. What are you doing, Kitty? Okay, guys.
Officers were shot this evening. They were rushed over to Frater Hospital. We do have Kim Murphy is right now at Frater, and you can see we are seeing more and more police officers arriving. Not all of these are Milwaukee police officers, but you can see those are all the motorcycle units, and some of these officers just gathering around. We're seeing a vigil.
I love you too.
There's a manhunt underway.
Thank you.
Milwaukee police telling people if we go back to that area at 25th and Garfield, asking people stay away. They say
stay away, people.
Threat, and that is telling me
Thank you
that
so much, Trey.
the persons or people responsible here are not in custody, and we're talking about all of this chaos.
The people responsible is not even in custody.
Police officers
Thank you
were
for the
shot in
hearts.
this area. As they're being rushed to the hospital, the investigation to find the shooter continues. Right now, unclear, we do not have it confirmed why Milwaukee police were called to this area to begin with. There was a homicide not too far away on Lisbon earlier in the night. Unclear right now if that's related. But that is another active scene that is currently happening.
Wow.
We do know there's a
It was a damn
investigation taking place there.
Any damn way.
We saw them on scene, and our crews were there.
Okay, guys, I'm out. Thank you for joining.